we last week we got through about 17 minutes of Chelsea's video, and I discussed during that call that hopefully today, I don't know if we'll get through the rest of it, but we'll do our best. You're making lots of great notes on this call because we are talking about you guys then utilizing this to role play certain pieces of it. So as we go through it today, make your notes. And then next week, what we're going to do is do a breakdown of it in greater review, assign specific roles based on the sales playbook, and then work through it ourselves. So with that said, I'm going to actually, Chelsea, are you there? Chelsea, are you in a position, because I make extra notes, like, because I hear things like as I go through it a second and third time. Are you able to play it from yours, Chelsea?
Yeah, I can run down to my computer.
Okay, if you don't mind, sorry about that. Just that way, because otherwise I'm screen sharing playing it, and then I'm going to be hopping back and forth on you guys, and that's not fair to you. And we'll start it at about the 16-minute mark, Chelsea.
Dave, if you just give Chelsea, I gave you host, so I can't give her host now. Yep. Make her co-host.
I passed the host game.
Recording in progress.
Logged in as Michelle C. Cool. Weird. I noticed the last week, Dave, it was pretty blurry and the like audio and video wasn't matching. So I don't know if I try to do it from my hard drive, if that would be
better. Okay. Yep, you can do that too. We'll do our best with what we got.
Okay. I'm obviously logged into a different Zoom account, so I don't have permission.
Okay, no problem.
Just you can give her, did you give host access to when she re-logged in?
So then I'm just going to pop it over to you if you can play it from yours.
Okay.
Like I have it right here. I just don't have host.
Yeah, go ahead. You should be able to now.
It says Michelle is co-host now, not. Oh
yeah, no, I know because
I don't know why I'm logged as Michelle.
Maybe you're in the pursuit. Yeah, you're in the pursuit thing, and Michelle must have been hosting in there and changed the name the last time.
Like the opportunity to give them like some stability, like to be someone's rock, like, and to really speak some life into them. Like it's that in a way is fulfilling. And I mean, I don't do it every day, but there are days where when I see how much my words have impacted my kids, I'm like, well, that's enough. Like it makes you smile because you're like, like that's kind of our purpose in life, you know, to like plant seeds of like possibility in our community. And so it's like it is fulfilling to do that, but I don't know. So there's like some fulfilling aspect in taking care of kids, but
Awesome. Yeah, so that would be a huge need. Like, would you say that you've communicated or chatted with this with your husband, or no?
Ooh, no. No, we're very different people. I mean, no, I can't say there are like very good aspects to him. He like I remember the reason why I fell in love with him originally was because he's a very intelligent man, he's a go-getter. But then I think the two of us are motivated by different things. And yeah, I I feel like there's only like a certain extent that money can provide you happiness. I'm like, I don't think it's so important to like hustle for money, like because he's an immigrant too, so he knows like the work that
Did everybody else lose the audio? No, we can't, Chelsea.
and I'm not like I get fulfilled by connecting.
Okay. Have you thought about what that connection means, like beyond you're connecting with your kids, but like beyond that, is there anything that piques an interest, or have you thought about it?
I'm not, yeah, I'm not really sure, like I don't know much, like um yeah, no, I'm sorry, I get like these brain phrases.
It's okay. No, like the reason I ask you all these questions is to kind of help you start to like dig deeper in like what it is that is going to light you up, because there's only so much you can keep giving away before
Yeah.
it can like replenish you. And I'm sensing a lot of that. You're giving a lot away, and there's not much replenishing you. And there's nothing wrong with that per se if you can go through life and be fulfilled by just constantly giving. But there's something that you have to do first in order, and it's not selfish for you to put yourself first to do something for you so that you can be a better you can be a better mom, better wife, whatever that looks like in your life. You can just show up as a better person and a better human,
Yeah.
and then be able to kind of tap into this, like you want this connection with other humans. So it's like then you can tap into what does that look like, what like what service could I provide to help other people. Like I know you talked about community and doing these different things that are then going to bring goodness to the world instead of just the goodness you're bringing into your home, right? Yeah, and that's kind of like the whole point of us having like a goal, let's say. So having something, like I said, that star that you can kind of shoot for is it gives you something, because like you said, to get up in the morning, like you have no desire to get up early and to kind of have this morning routine, but knowing if you had a goal or something you were shooting for, you would, like, honestly, you have the desire within you. It just has to be towards something, because right now you're like all over the place with like, I would love to do this, but I want to be home with my kids, and like there's just so much going on here that you're not feeling the confidence within yourself to be able to like go through and to be more than just the mom that you're being currently. And and if you're fulfilled in that, there's nothing wrong with being a mom. Like you said, maybe you could foster some kids and you're still being within that role, but now you know you're providing some kind of a role, or like you said, that rock figure for those kids who might not have come from a very good home. So that would be very fulfilling work, like because you're doing it beyond just your own kids and stuff. And like you said, you're not here to be moved by money or that kind of thing, because not everybody, money's not a driver for everyone. Of course we need money to live, that's how we pay for like our goods and services in today's society, but it's finding something for you that is going to be something that you desire and something you love, and that thing you can shoot for, that's really going to help kind of motivate you to get you up out of bed in the morning, beyond just like, I want to fulfill and set my kids off for their day and make their lunches and all this stuff, because you can do so much of that and put so much love into it, but there's so much more to it than just that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can start with kind of that like overall broader view, and then we can kind of like start to break this down together so that it doesn't feel so like scattered or all over the place for you. And then we can kind of like focus in on something that is more of a priority or something that's been speaking to you for longer, and just kind of like give you something to focus on that like really lights you up and gets you excited. Like you talked about design work and so many things that you could bring in to your life that could kind of fuel a passion and get some like fun and like happiness back into your life, right? We're not meant to just live in this life of like monotonous things, not doing what we're like that we love to do or do it happily, right?
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Hi. Oh, so cute. So what would you say if you were to kind of, because you brought up some really good ideas, if there was something that you would say is kind of like a goal, or like you were starting to talk about kind of how your ideal day would look, what would be that thing that you're kind of shooting for?
Oh, I love the sometimes if you're can you go play please? I'm trying to what I love about design, or like even just clothes making, it's that it not only is it like a good source of income, but it's a good skill for anyone to have, I think. When you're able to make I think a lot of there was one woman in particular that I was like, when she talked about what she did, I was like, this is what I wanted to do. She not only designs her own line, she helps other women like learn the skills, like the sewing skills, how to make clothes, how to embroider, how to all these things, just for them to, because a lot of these women are abused. A lot of these women are, it's almost like helping women find their freedom. So she does this for free. Like she really puts in her time to invest in other women. And I love that, like, because I know design school is very competitive too. Like, she talked about her design school. But anyway, I mean, I guess one of the dreams, I guess if I could dream, would be to finish design school, learn how to do all these skills, the draping, sewing, tailoring, but then open it up to the community and help other girls find their own freedom to, when they can sew their own clothes, they don't really need to. I mean, to be honest, some clothes are ridiculously expensive, overpriced, at the mall. And it would give them the freedom that they can design for their own personalities, for themselves. Then it kind of gives them that freedom. So I guess at first it would give me the freedom. It would give me the freedom to not rely on I'm looking for this specific thing, I cannot find it or within my price range or anything, and then looking at clothes in the mall and being like, I can make this for a fraction of the cost, So I guess I would love to go, maybe that's my little star, find a way back to my original dream. Vera, you're interrupting right now. Can you play with your toys, please? I can't have you interrupt, okay? Thank you.
And what part of that would you be kind of the most fulfilled by, or why would why would you want to do that?
Yeah, I guess it would be I get, my assumption is that it would be part of my own freedom, but another assumption is that I'm so sorry, I had something lost. I think maybe the teacher role. I love the idea of give a man a fish and he eats for a day, but teach a man a fish and they'll have a lifetime supply. I love giving people a lifetime supply. Just passing on of knowledge. There's this sacredness to when people teach you a skill, when people pass along their knowledge to you. There's a sacredness to it. And I don't know if I ever received. Well, no, I did in school. I love that part of school. That was my favorite part of going to school.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that, to be able to pass on something not only to your own kids, but passing on this knowledge that can get lost through the generations. That's amazing. Yeah. That's awesome. So with all of that, because you kind of then set something, and I felt it. I felt your passion, even though we're on a screen. I could feel you talk about this and how passionate you are for helping other women and all of that. And like, I don't know that I can 100% help you, but I think that we could easily have another call for sure, and definitely work through more of the details, because it still feels like a little bit foggy and fuzzy for what this would be. But good for you for like dreaming and for getting this out there, because it's something that could be used and utilized by so many people, right? For you not only making the clothes, but teaching the skills for sure. And often we can have like limiting beliefs with doing a lot of this, and maybe you've come up to this already of like, I can't do it, because you had your dad say there's no money in design work, right? So then that kind of fueled a belief within you that, oh, I better do something else because I can't make money doing it. Did you say that was kind of a big part of this?
Yeah, big part, yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, there's lots of beliefs, and I know in the workshop we talked about like paradigms and everything else that can kind of come in and take over and not allow us to step into that role or that thing that we're meant to do. So would you say this is something that you truly were meant to do?
I think so.
Yeah, right now with your current belief level?
Yeah, it's hard because I'm naturally like, maybe not naturally, actually. I think it's a learned behavior, like indecisive person. But I know, like, since I was young that I loved it.
So do you have experience with all of this stuff already?
Actually, like, whatever I could. Like, it's I got into my grandma's stuff. So I never learned how to use a machine, but there's like, the library has workshops on that. So like, I do have access to learning, just how to use a machine. But as a kid, I would hand sew everything. Like,
Okay.
yeah, so that's all I could do as a kid.
That's awesome. Do you still do it now or no?
Maybe like tailoring, or well, it's all by hand, so it's like, it's not accurate, it's not machine, like nice, beautiful, like it's just, but it's so like, it's, how do you describe it? It's like you're zen. You just love it so much that you're like, I want to do this.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say right now is something or a reason why you haven't maybe taken the next step?
Yeah, it really does come down to finances. I mean, there are some days where I like search online. I'm like, where can I even go to school for this? Like, and really, it's like Toronto. And I mean, there was a school in Stratford, and after the pandemic, that school is online now. And see, online, I know that, like, the limitations of what online does. There's a different connection when there's something in person. Like, there's a different energy there. There's this like ease of conversation, and there's also this aspect of like, a lot of us, well, me, I'm a visual learner. I have to watch someone do something first, and like, there's only so much YouTube can teach you. Like, yes, you're watching them do it, but when there's a question that pops up, you don't have that freedom of asking them, like, why would you do that versus say this, like, there's these questions that pop up, and that the limitations of virtual is like, you don't have this freedom of mentor student, like, question, like the conversation flow. And like, I guess we can learn anything on YouTube, really, but it's so helpful when your teacher is like showing you why not, as well as the whys.
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally get that in-person connection is such a different energy. For sure. So just so I can see kind of the rationale behind why you might be looking to make kind of this change in your life, or maybe adding in some different things and looking to achieve that goal or have something in your life that's fulfilling, what would be the main reason why you're looking for kind of like a new strategy just to keep kind of like something going here?
Oh, like the reason to like shoot for the goal, or
yeah.
I would love to gain something, like gain a skill to pass it on, like because it's like, I think that's where the fulfilling part comes on, the passing it on. Like, when you see a value in a skill, there's like a sadness in the fact that like sometimes I feel like parents have a responsibility to pass on their skills to their kids. A lot of times they don't because or I don't know, I know with my parents, it was like, we had a hard life back where we came from, and we want you to have an easy life. So we will do all the hard things for you, and you will just go to school. Go to the school that'll make you the best money, like, so you can have an easy life. And it's like, who cares about an easy life? It is not fulfilling at all. An easy life is like the least fulfilling. It's good to have like some grit, some like to learn hard things and especially do something that's fulfilling for sure. Because yeah, if you don't find your job fulfilling, then it's like it's a drain. Life becomes draining because you really have to find the energy to keep doing whatever task you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. No, totally. And it it is such a common thing. Like there are so many people that we come across through this work that like don't fully know what they want in life, or don't really know how it's going to happen, or that kind of thing. So what I really would love for you to kind of go through and figure out is like,
Okay.
come up with that list of what it
Yeah.
is that you really love, and get more of a like defined, like there's so much that you have going on here, and so what ends up happening in this work is that all of like the other stuff, all of those like really, really deep rooted beliefs in our subconscious mind end up not fixing, because I don't love that word, but end up like repairing themselves, I guess, in a way, when we have something that we are like laser focused on, something we're working on, like giving us something to create every single day in order to then move ourselves forward. Because the idea of a goal is not for you to get that thing, that item, that piece of that skill, whatever it is you're shooting for. It's the growth that you're going to receive in the process. So for you, it'd be this massive jump of like confidence, because now you're doing something for yourself and not just giving everything away. So I would really love you to go through, create that list, and get something that just jumps out at you off of that piece of paper and is like, this is exactly what it is that I want, because it's going to make you a happier person, which is then going to make you a happier mom. Like, so you can see how when you're shooting for some kind of star with that goal, all of this other stuff just kind of gets like taken care of. And honestly, with all of the other stuff that's coming up in your life, when you become that person who's going to achieve that goal, so then your self-image grows to match the person that you're becoming, all of this other stuff, and you make decisions from her the way she would make them, all of that stuff just honestly gets figured out. So those conversations, or those hard conversations that you think you might have to have, and you're like, I don't know how this is going to happen, or you start to have this role play in your head of, this person's going to say this, and then they're going to say this, and right. And once you start living as her, all of this stuff gets taken care of. But first, you have to create a self-image that you want, that's going to match the person who's going to achieve these goals. So that is kind of where I want you to start first, is just like take 5-10 minutes after we jump off this call and just kind of go through and be like, what is it that I love? Put time and money aside.
Yeah.
And just say like, what is it that I love? Maybe design will still be at your top of your list, and maybe it won't, right? Like whatever is coming up for you, whatever you read on that list that ends up kind of like jumping out and being like, yes, this is what you need to focus in on. And if you tap into God, source, the universe, just kind of ask questions. Is this what I'm meant to do? Or what am I meant to do? And kind of listen. If you're in the habit of kind of talking to God or the universe, just listen and take it all in. And then we'll book another call and we can chat more about that and kind of go through on what it is that I could help you with, and then how we could maybe see if this partnership would work together or not.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, awesome. I loved chatting with you today, Elizabeth. It was amazing to get to know you better. I loved all that you had to share, and I know there's some emotional pieces here, and it's okay to let the emotion, for you to feel that. It's okay for it to surface, instead of us like constantly pushing down, right? Because it's a lot going on. So I want you to take the time for yourself
Mhm.
to kind of go through this list and just write down anything that comes to you that makes you happy, brings joy into your life. Even if, like, don't tell yourself that, like, oh, I couldn't make money doing this, or I couldn't make a life doing this, or some kind of career out of it. Still write it on the list, right? Because everyone, if you put so much love and energy into a service and you're good at providing this service, anyone will pay you for it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So I
thank
want you to go through. We'll book another call just so we have it here, and then we can chat again once you've kind of come up with this list, and we can
Mhm.
kind of chat where you are at with that one.
Yeah, sure.
So let's chat next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there a day that works best for you?
And you like the 15th? Were you looking at the 15th or?
Yeah, we could chat on the 15th.
Yeah, we can do that. That works for me.
Okay. Would 10 work okay?
Yeah, let's do 10.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Awesome. And again, I'll send you a Zoom link and we can chat on here again. And even if you have any questions that come up, write those down too, and we can kind of go through them as well. Okay.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, Chelsea.
Sounds good. You take care, okay?
Yeah, you as well.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Chelsea, I forget, did you guys ever have that second call?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And was it more, how long was it, and would it be beneficial for us to jump into part 2?
Probably because I noticed quickly, and obviously like, it went 43 minutes without me just like, hey, here's some homework.
Yeah,
But I recognized that like she didn't really know what she wanted at all. So there needed to be something first before we could actually chat, because I can't coach her or sell her on anything because she has no idea what she even wants. But yeah, that the second call went through more of like the script and did the whole educate piece, talked a lot about decision and how learning how to make a decision properly can be so powerful. And then went into like the price and the closing and all that stuff.
for sure. Let's bring that next week
Okay.
and see how it kind of continues on and what plays out, because there's definitely some gaps here. This was a kind of an emotional dump for her. I mean, she wasn't emotional, but she was unloading a lot of baggage in this. And once you, and anybody on any sales call, if you lose that control kind of out the gate, where they're kind of directing it and just laying it on you, all the things, it's easy to turn it into a coaching call and let me kind of help you with that. I'm not saying that's wrong, right? That's why when you go into a call, that pre-call routine and making sure that individual knows we're connecting to discuss what issues you're facing, where you want to get to, what gaps you have, and trying to get yourself there and finding a solution for you. That they know then what the purpose of the call is, because otherwise, and I think kind of the context of the call, Chelsea, the way it was, once you're at that point, you're absolutely right. Let me give you some homework. Let me give you some stuff to focus on, and we're going to reconnect. Because once you've lost that control, it's tough to pull it back on track anyways and get a successful outcome, especially if they're not kind of feeling that. It also, I think, gives you a chance to regroup. And I'd be going, oh, wow, she's dumped a lot on me here. And she's got a lot of paradigms. She's got paradigms around her parents' beliefs. She's got paradigms around how she views education should be delivered. She's got paradigms around spending money. She's got paradigms her husband doesn't know. So it'd be like, I'm going to talk to Dave or Delyn or somebody else that's, no sales. And I'm coming up with like a full war game plan for this next call. And I'm going to war, and I'm going, I'm going in it ready for battle, and not in a confrontational way, but in I'm ready to lay it all out on the table for her and how it is that she's the only thing that's going to make her change, or the things that she needs, right? So super curious maybe how that second call goes, because there's a lot stacking up here for her. when it comes to the things holding her back. And though I made note here because I missed it the first time through. It was near the end there about her parents. And it was one thing I was like, oh, her parents, hard life versus easy life, right? Her parents want her to have the easy life. It doesn't need to be a hard life. The reality is her parents' beliefs are making her life very hard right now.
Yep.
But her parents want her to just have the easy life. What's all of the old shit they got that they're giving to her that's making her life difficult as hell? At least that's the way I see it. So
And
let's
she didn't like touch on it big, but she said something around her grandma doing something with alterations because like I went to high school with this girl, so she was on my bus and her parents' house where she got picked up. I don't know if she lived with a grandma, what it was, but there was a sign for alterations. So parts of me believe that this isn't actually what she wants to do, the whole sewing thing. It was just something easy to put in there because at a young age she probably got taught how to sew and then
Right.
she just kind of like ran with it. So like yeah, there's still so much digging that needs to be done there on
For
what she
sure.
actually wants.
For sure. And why she wants it. And, you know, the money paradigm is going to come in hard for her, I think, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Based on her belief systems and what, you know, true education should be like and how she values it and seeing things in a different way. And making that presumption without seeing the call going where it's going, but that's somebody's belief. What I would do if somebody was like, you know, like the way I need to do it the way my parents did or in this way or that way, right? Cool, no problem. Like you, just because they're a no now doesn't mean they are in the future, right? Note in my calendar 6 months from now, contact Elizabeth. How's that going for you? Hey, Melissa, just circling back to you, right? You know, want to see if there's anything I can help you with, dive into, super curious how's things going for you, right? Tell me all the big wins that you're having. Give them to something that they got to answer more than, oh yeah, Chelsea, things are just going good. Because if they're not going good, their ego's not going to let them tell you it's not going well or as planned, or it's least likely that they're going to, because they're going to be like, well, I told Chelsea that the way to get educated and to solve a problem was doing it this way versus the way that she's suggesting, and they aren't going to let their ego kind of say, ooh, you were maybe wrong here, maybe there is a better way to do it. So ask them, like, tell me your biggest wins. Like, that's amazing, things are going well. Like, what's really going well for you? Like, share that with me, tell me so I can celebrate it with you. And if they're like, well, you know, and it's like kind of weak stuff again, you can re-engage that conversation. I'm just saying, and again, I'm making presumptions here on how the call is going to go or what she's saying. But you can re-engage the conversation and be like, look, it's okay that if that path just isn't working for you, I know it's how everybody else has done it. I know it's what you believe to be true. But if it's not getting you what it is that you desire to have, are you open to viewing it from a new lens or a new way of looking at it? Can we try that? And then going all in on that. So we'll do a greater dissect next week, a little bit of it, but you do have, how long's your part 2 call?
Let me check. It's 54 minutes.
Okay. We'll speed it up around like 1.25. And we'll probably use most of the 45 minutes to work through it. So everybody has all the pieces of the puzzle. So that's the better way to go and learn through it all and engage with it and, you know, see how it all comes together. Is there any other comments about the call? Anything that stuck out to anybody else today? Melissa.
Chelsea, I want to commend you on kind of like reeling her back in to use her imagination, because one of the major things that stuck out was she said, if I'm allowed to dream. She feels like she can't have a dream. She's really out of she's checked out of her body. When her kid came in, she was super distracted, triggered. She kept talking about freedom in her life. Like she kept talking about that lady that was teaching people how to sew to give them a sense of freedom. So you know that she's craving freedom. But yeah, when she said, if I'm allowed to dream, it was like, this poor girl hasn't been allowed to use her imagination to really dream about what it is she wants to do. And if I can guess how next week is going to go when we review, she probably didn't really do her homework. Yeah, because she just is so, yeah, she's just so checked out. She doesn't even know, she can't even process her emotions, let alone put things into words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just so much of letting all the outside circumstances control her life, right? And make all the decisions for her.
Yeah. I had a call similar to this. If everybody remembers Michelle McRoberts. And I apologize because it's not recorded, but I wish I had done it because we had a call. Michelle was very much like that. She was just super scattered, almost like an ADHD, right? And at one point it was making me feel really overwhelmed, the energy. So I just honestly, I just brought it into a meditation. I got her to visualize that person, that healthy version of herself. I got her to feel her body, got her to like connect to her breath, a piece of her body that she needed to feel. And once I did that, she let out emotions and she cried, and then she could talk, and then she committed to coming into the 2% club. So sometimes even just that piece, like just get them to just feel their body in the moment, was really like, this poor Elizabeth really needs to connect.
Go ahead, Cheryl. And then
I
just
was
say,
gonna say, the one thing I heard her say is, I'm an indecisive person. So she's already identifying with not being able to make decisions. So that's going to be important moving forward. But the other thing that I thought was really interesting that she said when she was talking about sewing as a kid, that it was Zen. That was Zen-like for her, right? And so that probably is something that she is really going to want to do in her life. If that's where she can kind of get into and maybe be herself, if that feels zen to her. Those two things hands down stood out to me the most today.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
for me, like yeah, the whole creativity part, like when she was talking about the sewing, and then what came out for me is that she really wanted to do that because she needed that creative outlet, like her soul expression, and then she really felt connected to that. And then on top of that, it would be like part of her purpose to give herself the freedom, and then also giving it back for the greater good, and then to actually use that talent for her to actually help other women to have that freedom by teaching them to sew their own clothing and provide that freedom. So I felt that she knew a little bit about her purpose, what she wanted to do, because she wants the freedom for herself and she wants the freedom for the women, for the greater good, by teaching them how to make their own clothing, and then in that way. So I don't know, I felt like she did know something. She's just kind of lost in the everything else
yeah.
that's happening.
This is the reason too why it's so important to have a service ladder and other offerings. I stand by, like, I truly believe the best possible thing somebody can do is high level mentorship, full commitment, full immersion, long-term program. I also believe sometimes when meeting people where they're at, and I, maybe on a call, I might paint the picture. Look, Chelsea, the number one thing I think you need here is my 6-month mentorship, right? It takes a thing. However, I'm also hearing you use some things here that I think we need to work through first. You're talking you're indecisive, you're talking like all these things, and I want to meet you where you're at. I want to make the journey really pleasant for you, and to do that. And so I'm actually not going to suggest doing our high level, longer term mentorship right now. I want to work with you for 1 month or 2 months or whatever that duration is of a shorter term program that you may offer. And then say, then we'll build on the steps from there. And if you decide later on to go to my bigger program, I'll credit you back what you invested in this one towards that. If there's like a direct, like you finished one and then the next, not finish one and then 6 months later you go to the next. But it's just one right after the other. And I think people value that honesty, and they don't feel like you're just out there to make the sale or do the bigger thing, right? It's like, but you tell them this is the best thing for you, but I think this is where you're at right now. That can work two ways. Like the person might go, well, wait a second, no, I'm capable of doing this bigger, longer one. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. I just, I wasn't sure if that's what you were thinking or where you're there at. So I didn't even, want to go down that road with you right now. But if that's what you want, let's do that. But then if you bring them back, I think they value your honesty and your integrity to say, look, let's start here. And just so you know, this isn't like I'm going to sell you the other one afterwards. I'm actually going to credit what you invested in this towards your next one. I just want to meet you where you're at and make this journey a lot more easier and smooth for you. And let's work through these other things first. Does that sound like an appropriate way to go to you? Well, you're nodding your head. Does that sound like that's something that would work? Yeah, that probably, you're right. That does sound like a better way for me to go. Okay, so consider that on calls. Don't use that as a scapegoat to get out of asking for the higher ticket, whatever, OTA or anything else that you do. Don't lean on going, well, I'm just going to give them the little freebie first, or the $100 or the $300 thing first, right? Because it's easier for you. Meet them where they're at with honesty and integrity, and they're going to feel that. And so with honesty and integrity, if the best thing for them is that higher level program, go for it. Okay. Food for thought. Chelsea, thank you so much for sharing part one of that. I'm excited to see part two. I know we've had some predictions as to how this part two may go. We'll see how it all plays out. Okay. And we'll go from there. All right, everybody, have a fantastic week ahead. We'll see you on Monday. Bye.